alternative government. If it was opposition, of course, it will really fly that 2-term, 1-term snoggling, that will suffice. But alternative government, as you mentioned it, what is, you know, the immediate action and the discernible difference you can bring, you as the alternative government? And Cathy, you are in the alternative government as it stands. Are you happy just listening also to one of your principles?
First of all, let me correct that. I'm not in the alternative government.
You're
I
not?
actually do not understand them. I've been there. I was there at some point. My senior Waziri Kirwa have been with him on that side of politics. But definitely.
So you never made an official disassociation, so that we know when was the departure.
It's okay. I can assure you that to me there are more problems in that side of opposition, whether they call themselves the united opposition or the alternative government, whatever they call themselves, because it's actually a one-man show. It's a one-man show, and you can see the problems that they're having, and that is what me depart from that group, because the alternative government or the united opposition, and I repeat this all the time, is Rigathi Gachagua. And he has made it very clear. He's the one who calls the shot. He's the MC in all functions. He's the one who decides who to speak and whom not to speak. I mean, you've seen even my former party SG, Honorable Kioni, say that he would not attend any other meeting by the alternative government where the mic is just given to a certain group of people or aspirants. I mean, having said that, I come from Mount Kenya region, and I will tell you this for a fact. I arrived back in Nairobi yesterday after being in Nyeri for about 3 days. Whatever Rigathi Gachagua says is not reflected on the ground, and that is a fact. People are quite unhappy with the current government. That is true. And he found them in opposition. By the time he was being impeached, he found the people of Mount Kenya in the opposition. That's a fact. But the people of Mount Kenya are not behind him to the man. There's something that he keeps repeating. That I have these, in fact, today I've heard him talk about 10 million votes. Which 10 million votes? I don't think we have 10 million votes in that region. And he seems, he wants to make everybody else believe that all these people will follow him. If he says that we are going to vote for X, they will vote for X because Gachagua has done. That is not true. And the reason why I say it is not true, and it is good to be very objective when we are looking at these things. If that was the case, then how did we lose the Mbeere North parliamentary seat? If that was the case, how did we lose the 2 MCA positions again in Mbeere? I think for the first time, what I see in Mount Kenya region myself, and I speak as an aspirant and someone who comes from the region, I've ran there not once, not twice. We are going to have candidates from very many political parties. There is even a possibility of having independent people voted in as independent candidates. And the reason that, as to why that will happen is because the leader of this alternative government or united opposition is too divisive. You go to Meru, have just listened to him. You go to Meru and you tell the people of Meru, Fagia. And you start by saying, Senator Kathuri, Fagia. Governor XYZ, Fagia. What are you telling the people of Meru? You cannot say that just because you disagreed with William Samoei Ruto, then everybody else who follows William Samoei Ruto must go home. That's the problem. But then when I look at the two gentlemen, I happen to know both of them. Rigathi Gachagua as someone I've contested with, and of course His Excellency Kithure Kindiki as a leader from the region that I have interacted with since TNA. And Kindiki has really changed. For those of us who knew him, I didn't even expect that he would change that fast to do a very combative kind of campaign. So
you found him out of character?
No, really. I think it's mutation. It's political mutation. When Gachagua speaks the way he speaks, I'm not surprised. I know him. That's how he does his politics. But for Kithure Kindiki, I'm a bit excited, you know, looking at him and saying Bwekse and repeating this fire, see fire. But I know he's being forced, he's being pushed into doing that because of how the ground is. I mean, Kenyans are struggling with the very, very basic. You know, at times when we focus so much on these 1 term, 2 term, and tunatoa huyu, tunaingiza huyu, or we're doing all these kind of things, how come none of them, even as I listened to them yesterday and the other day, apart from these banters and the exchange and the heat that is emanating from those rallies that they are addressing, who is addressing the real issue that Mwananchi is facing? You know? And I want to tell you something about Wanjiku the voter. At times, as politicians, when we go to the ground, we behave like the people who came to Waziri's rally are different from the people who will come to my rally, yet you're going to the same locality. You know, our people look and view politics from a point of entertainment. I can assure you, the people who were with Kindiki yesterday were the same people who were with Gachagua on Saturday. So we need to take serious, even Wanjiku, ourselves as voters, we need to start interrogating and taking politics seriously. Because it means then that the first day, these are the same people who chanted 1 term. Yesterday, because I've listened to Kithure Kindiki there, and even as he's saying, nitakufukuza, nitakutoa Meru, achana na mimi, see, there are people chanting. It's the same people. It's the same people. So it also complicates the arithmetics of anybody thinking that he has an entire Mount Kenya to himself. Yeah, you don't have it. You don't have it. Okay. And this time around, I think the voters have become more, you know, pliable. They are being manipulated more. And I think it's because of the poverty. If you look at whether you want to look at the economy has shrunk, the middle class is shrinking, people are suffering more. So the politicians are just playing with the minds of Wanjiku, and it is very unfortunate.
Thank you. Let me just come to you, Kipruto Arap-Kiro, because what also Cathy raises, it's very key in the person of Rigathi Gachagua as it stands right now, that he's sort of a maverick who's really running this campaign